Good afternoon, good evening, Harlem. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And as many of you know, Harlem Network News is a media platform. We started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. We are an essential service bringing news and information to the community, often news that's not covered on some of the major networks. We pride ourselves with telling our story, which is very critical, and we aim to get it right. Knowledge is power, and our mantra is to inform people, engage people, and call folks to action. There is much going on in the world with the presidential elections, the debates, right here in Harlem at the Abyssinian Baptist Church, which is one of the pinnacles and meccas of Harlem. We have a new minister that we're welcoming in the person of Reverend Johnson and Reverend Kevin R. Johnson. And we are just saying our farewells and our salutes to Reverend S. Rashad Hoggard, who has really been stellar in keeping the church going since the transition of Reverend Calvin O'Butts. So we are very grateful for that. We stand firm. And more than ever, we ask that the community be engaged, be vigilant, participate, and hold all of our public officials from presidents right on down to the locals accountable. It's extremely important, and that we be involved. We matter, they matter. And today, on that very note, we do have with us in the person of Miss Sharonne Salaam, and she is the mother of Dr. Yusef Salaam of the Exonerated 5, and now our city council person right here in Central Harlem. So Miss Salaam, and we're gonna today, she's here representing her amazing organization, Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated, and she's going to share with us some events that she has coming up that are very vital to our community. So Ms. Salaam, if you would just say hello to the Harlem Network News audience and let the audience know who you are and whose you are, and then we'll go on for you to share a bit about Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated and why you started it. So thank you, Ms. Salaam. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. And well, you've already said I'm the mother of Yusef Salaam, among others. But we are, here, and we are trying to educate the community and make them aware of various things that are happening that are on a need to know basis. And in our community, we have found that there's a lot of need to know. And when we started our work on behalf of the community, it was, well, kind of a slow process in terms of gathering what information needed to be done and how we needed to move to help move our community a little bit further towards understanding various situations that were happening in our community. Because when Yusef many years ago was arrested, convicted, and went to jail and later exonerated, there was a big impact on that within our families and within the children that were left home. They still had to go to school and various things. And there was side effects that impacted everyone within our community, and also side effects that spoke to people who were without our community, outside in the world. So we were impacted greatly by a lot of things. And part of it was that, people really did not understand what was happening, and they didn't have a full view of a lot of things that was going on. But within that space, it helped us to grow and develop and get to a point where we could see a light at the end of the road in a way, and also ways that we could move forward to help the community and to help the people in the community move forward and understand various things.
Okay, well, thank you for that,
Mhm.
Sharonne Salaam. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and I am
Mhm.
here with the incredible, amazing mentor for me, Miss Sharonne Salaam, and she is speaking about her organization that she started, Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated. And certainly, this has been quite a journey. Miss Salam, I always feel like you were very instrumental along with others. We never can do anything alone, but just in terms of moving the young men, they were young boys at the time,
Very
uh,
much.
to be incarcerated, just to be exonerated,
Mhm.
to come from that Central Park Five to the Exonerated Five. And I think as a mother and as a community member, you did not stop, you persevered. And that's what I see in you. I had the honor of working with Ms. Salam on the task force for the gate of the Exonerated, which was in collaboration with Community Board 10. But Ms. Salam once again stood firm on that. And you can go right to 110th near the Fifth Avenue and see this gate of the Exonerated. And this is the first gate naming in 150 years. So that was a very powerful experience. And we want to continue to spread the word and encourage people to go to that gate. And we look forward to putting the statue of the Exonerated Five up in Central Park.
Yeah.
We're going to keep going. It's very important. But today, Ms. Salam, if you would just share a bit about Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated, why you started it, how it has grown, and even I know that you've been involved in some legislation. So if you could just share some of those factors for the audience, because we certainly want our audience to be informed and to be in the know. So thank you.
Mhm. Well, we started Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated um, some time ago. We are like an all volunteer organization at this moment. But let me just say, it really was almost an offshoot of all of these things that happened within the case. Because one day we drove up to Yusef. At that point, he was in a place called Harlem Valley, and that's upstate New York. And we drove up there along with myself and Father Lucas and others. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, Father Lucas was very drivable. Yes, he was a
Is that
man.
that's Father
Oh,
Lucas from the Catholic Church?
Father Lucas from the
Right.
Catholic Church. Yes. We
Meet
we got up. Yes, we got up there to the visit, and Father Lucas was packing. He took his gun out and took out the bullets.
Woo. Mhm.
And we went on in to visit, and we was visiting with Yusef at the time, and Yusef was telling us about the conditions that were happening with inside the facility.
Yes.
And he was saying how, there were the children in there, they really needed some help in doing various things, and asked if we could advocate on their behalf. And so I said to him, gee, if we start advocating on their behalf,
Mm,
then the people might decide to come after you.
mm.
He says, well, I'll be all right, but they need some help.
Okay.
So with that, we started doing various things to help the young people within the juvenile facilities. And really, we went into juvenile facilities throughout the state, taking in programs and services and doing various things. We learned that the majority of people who were incarcerated in these facilities didn't even get visits. So we also try to encourage family members and others to go visit their children. As a matter of fact, when we left near the end of the time Yusef was there, before he was transferred to an adult facility, they had so many people coming to visit, they had to change the visiting hours. So, you know, it was like a joy, and it wasn't. Because, you know, before that, I was able to go anytime I felt like it.
Right,
But
right.
they changed the hours. We had to accommodate more people who were coming. But
Oh,
it was a pleasure just working on that and starting that piece. And then we continued that. And not too long ago, we actually incorporated justice for the wrongfully incarcerated. And
beautiful.
and when we did that, we started working on other issues related to people who were incarcerated in general, going into the prison, visiting people, starting legislation for people who were incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, coming out, and particularly people who were coming out and were exonerated. Because many people, when you come out and you're an exonerated person, that means that the charges, your crime, everything has been wiped out. So it's
Mhm.
like you've never been to prison.
Okay.
But the reality is you have been. But
Mhm.
now you need like a roadmap on how do you move forward? How do you cross the street? You know, how do you go into your home if you have a home and know that you can go into the refrigerator and
Right.
get a glass of milk? You don't have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. Some people are coming out of prisons and they are coming out with the clothes on their back, a few dollars in their pocket, and no real ID. So all of that thing has to be set in place. And so through the legislation, we are asking that these things will be put in order so that when people come out of prison, particularly people who have been exonerated, because if you are no longer convicted of a crime, whatever services that might have been available to you as a former prisoner no longer exist because you're not convicted of a crime.
Mhm.
So you're just a man walking free, trying to figure out what you do, where do you go, what do you do, you know? So we want things in place to help them maneuver that. We want them to be able to get education if they choose, get housing, get training, all types of things that have not been afforded to them. We want them to be made whole, and we also want their families to be assisted, which becomes a critical component because while you are incarcerated, oftentimes your family has been left on the wayside. You may have had a person who was with you during the beginning of this stage. Person might have been pregnant. You've coming out of the child's 20 years old. You know,
Yeah.
how do you rekindle those relationships? And all of that stuff has been stripped from you because of the incarceration. And we want that also to be helped to be mended and to be made whole so that it's not only the incarcerated person or formerly incarcerated person, former exonerated person that's being made whole, but the family in general is being placed in a position where they too can be made whole. You know, it's a kind of an interesting process. And this is why we do justice for the wrongfully incarcerated because we realize at some point the majority of people who are incarcerated, whether they are exonerated or they're coming out guilty of a crime that they committed or did not commit,
Mhm.
they're going to be coming back into our communities. And we want people to come back into our communities who can offer the best that they can to the community, and we can give the best to them.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and I'm here with Miss Sharonne Salaam, and she is the mother of Dr. Yusef Salaam, who is our new city council person, and she is also the mother of others, her other
That's the,
amazing children. So
yes.
you know, we salute you, children, grandchildren, and this is a very, very critical issue. And I know your organization is Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated, but I know that your organization is also addressing the incarcerated, because as you said, there are people who are coming out of the prison system who may have been guilty, but they have done their time, paid their, you know, debt to society. And then there are others who were coming out who were convicted, but were not guilty, but did not get exonerated.
That's
So
true.
the heavy thing is the treatment
Mhm.
that you
Yeah.
receive in the prison. As we know, this is a very, very critical situation. And we also know that a majority of the people that are incarcerated in America are Black and brown people. We also know that America
Yeah.
has the largest prison system in the world. We also know that the prison system is, you know, like a major business.
Hmm.
So it's a very heavy thing, but the families are critical because systemic racism rules in this system. Also, economics rule in the system. I think that they have changed that. But I do remember when it was like $4 a minute to call your loved one in prison. So really, if you didn't have the money or you don't have the money to send to the loved one, maybe they can't eat, you know, so it's a lot of things. And the families need support. But quickly, Ms. Salam, can you share with us, because I know that there are two current legislative bills that you have been working on, and I have the numbers, but if you could just share what those are. I have A3978A and S2074A, but can you break that down for the layman people, the legislative bills that you have been working?
Well, those bills are to assist people who were um, i- incarcerated and also exonerated.
Okay,
That aims to assist that particular population of people, and it aims to help them with various services and to help them get back on their feet as a whole human beings and their families. So that bill is geared around that particular group. Other
okay,
types of things are in the works and are moving. And it also, that bill also speaks to the time that people have to wait to be compensated, because it's
okay,
a long, long process. It's
right,
not like you come out and then the compensation check is right there. So
right.
it speaks to that so that they don't have to wait so long to become compensated for the time that they've spent in prison, you know, and that becomes very critical in terms of them moving forward, because you can't rent an apartment if you have no money,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. So these are
and
real factors.
that's right. And then there's still a lot of prejudice regarding people who have been incarcerated, whether you're uh, uh, guilty, innocent, or however you see yourself. You know, a
Right.
lot will depend on the fact that you were incarcerated.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
just because of that,
Mm.
and there are a lot of people, when you look at this issue of incarcerated in general, there are so many people who are walking around who have paid their dues, have come out, and still would like to clear their names. So that those are people who feel that they also are innocent of the crime they went to jail for. There are
Mhm.
people who are on death row waiting to be executed. Some of those people are innocent as well.
Yes.
And, like we in our society are not moving in a way that creates a homogeneous type of environment for all people. If we are a small part of the American population, why are we a major part of the prison industrial complex?
Thank you.
We
That was
should all ask ourselves that.
Thank you. Thank you. So I want to move along because I know with your organization, Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated, and I know you're working on many, many things, and you've given us the essence of why and how you began. And, you know, the world is so connected because I did some work some years ago with Dr. Lucas
Mhm.
and Catholic organizations over there, and one of the
Yes.
professors, Madeline Anderson, and it was just a great experience to work on that documentary project. But
Hmm.
I want to move forward. I know that you've set up some workshops for July, criminal law talks, and that is happening every Saturday in July. And you had a session yesterday. So if you would just share a little bit about the sessions. I know yesterday was the 6th. You have one coming up on the 13th, the 20th, the 27th, and it's from 10 to 12. And currently, it was at the office of our council member, Dr. Yusef Salaam, but I know you said that you had such an overwhelming response, so we'll see for this Saturday. But if you would share what are the workshops, who's speaking, and why did you choose these people? And if you could start with what happened yesterday, Harlem
Hmm.
Network was hoping to be there, and we weren't able to make it. So we're glad to have Ms. Salaam share. I know yesterday you had Exonerated and Starting Over, and that was Jeffrey Deskovich, Esquire. So if you could share a little bit about what happened yesterday, and then what we can expect for the rest of the month, and then how folks
Hmm.
can get in touch with you as well, and you know, sign up to come to the workshop. So thank you.
Okay. Well, Jeffrey Deskovich is an individual who was formerly incarcerated for murder, rape, and a few other things. But he was incarcerated. I think he was about 16 or 17 when he was convicted of these crimes, and he spent about 16 years. He came out, he was 32 years old.
Wow. Woo.
Yeah, 32 years old. He had spent all that time incarcerated. And at a certain point, he was exonerated of the crime,
Mm.
so, you know, exoneration is such a tough thing. And he was exonerated through DNA. But, you have the DNA already. You just need somebody who's willing to look at it fairly and make a decision whether you have people who are guilty or who are not. But in any event, he did that. And after he came out and he started getting himself together, it was a difficult process he had to go through because, there were people who was trying to help him, like give him food and stuff like that. It's not easy. It's not easy. So when you go through that and you get everything together, and at a certain point he decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna go to college and become a lawyer. And
All
that's what he did.
right.
That's what he did. He
I-
has helped to exonerate a number of people. I think about 9 different people working with other attorneys.
One.
And just recently, he exonerated a young man uh, working as his own attorney. How do they call it? Lead attorney. He was the lead attorney on that case. But now, so he was able to give a good conversation
Mhm.
regarding, you know, while you're in there, what happens when you're trying to start over in the process? Because people don't know about it, how entrenched the process can be. It's not an easy one. Everyone can't make it and do various things. But he talked about that process. He answered other questions that people had regarding the prison system, regarding the arrest system, and gave out various information regarding various genuine advice that people need to know, and that we need to start telling our young people that this is what you need to do if you are stopped by the police. This is what you need to do if the police want to come in. And many times they say to you, you know, you're just a witness. We just want you to come in and help us. because you might know something that might help us, and you need to know it's time to ask for your lawyer.
Right.
Because our kids and many of our adults are not really educated in a way that they know these various things. Just something as simple as that.
It's very
I'd like a lawyer.
Yeah, it's very true. And we're Harlem Network News. I'm Terri Wisdom. I'm here with Ms. Sharonne Salaam, mother of Dr. Yusef Salaam and others, and also the CEO and founder of Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated. And I think that is a very, very valid point that you made, especially in New York City. And I know that Yusef is working hard, to deal with a lot of these issues that we have, particularly here in New York City. But, we know that New York City is still a police state. Stop and check exists on a regular. So as you said, young people need to know ahead what to do and what not to do. And, even in New York City, because we know that that was a situation that Yusef faced. Like if you're coming from another state and you got tinted windows on your car, you need to be mindful coming into New York City, because that is not allowed, and anything you can get stopped and checked for. So when you get stopped and checked, you have to conduct yourself in a certain way, hopefully because you don't want stop and check to turn into something, where you are bodily harmed.
That's so true.
Yeah. So these, and it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your American Express card says. Don't matter if you headed this or you headed that. Pretty much if you're driving while Black, you're in danger. So these are some of the things that people have to be prepped for. We're working to change these things so that that is not the case. But in the meantime, we need to be educated. Knowledge is power. So if you would,
so true. That is so true. And let me just say this, because when we started this organization, Yusef was one of the co-people that was right on that team, pushing us forward with this. And he's still on the team trying to get this information out, because these sessions are going to be going on for 2 months through July. And then there's sessions that are going to be going on in August with various lawyers talking about different things. And we're hoping that people will come and get the information and share it with their family members. Because we found one of the things we found out at yesterday's session was that there were a lot of people who wanted this information. The room was packed because we had it at Councilman Yusef Salaam's office. The room was packed. People stood until the very end who were not able to get a seat, asking their questions, getting answers to their questions, and getting further information. It's not like the information and various things are not available. Some things are available. There were materials available for people who were who needed information on what was available for them if they were coming out of prison. And this is for anybody. What can you do? How do you get ID? Various information that you need to know, and information that would help you, help your children and your family members and friends that on the street. Now, one of the things that we did not do was part of the sessions are not for people who are coming in seeking attorneys.
So we need to make that clear so people know. And
this
sure
is informational. Right. And if you have attorneys already, you also need to know that people who are being represented by attorneys on their case, it is not a practice that an attorney, a separate attorney, can interfere with the advice of your attorney that's representing you on the case.
So thank you for that. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you are doing these information sessions. And because in the past, having a family member, and I think you broke that glass ceiling in terms of how you operated, but you know, it carried with it sometimes shame, guilt, people ostracizing you, which I know that you
Oh,
experienced.
yeah.
So it's not an easy thing. But I think that, and I can't say it how Marcus Messiah Garvey said it, but out of the conditions or the situation can come change. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
so much what happened to you, but how are you going to deal with it? And just getting rid of that stigma and coming and being with a group of other people who have shared it, it's a way that you can get information and you can get help and you can find community. You know, just like I'm part of Harlem Mothers and Fathers Saved with Jackie Rowe Adams. As you know, my son was shot and killed and also, you know, had been formerly incarcerated. So I've been through this. But one of the things that helps is when you speak out, when you talk, you find community, and that's how you can work collectively for change. So, Ms. Salaam, we don't have too much more time. Would you share what's coming up in July? The
Okay. Now in July, we started off with that young man, Jeffrey Descovich.
Okay.
Now we're going to be going to Anthony Rico, and Roger Wareham will be next.
Okay.
For many people, these two are all attorneys. And then we're going to throw in someone that is called a jailhouse lawyer,
Okay.
Daryl Fulton.
All
Now
right.
that's somebody who's behind bars, and those people who've been in jail know what I'm talking about. A
Okay.
jailhouse lawyer. And
Okay.
then the following month, we're moving on to other people talking about different things related to it. Everyone is invited to come. Some people brought their children yesterday. Come. We're going to be, the place is at Councilman Yusef Salaam's office. What is that? 163
Yeah,
Lenox
163.
Avenue.
Yeah, Malcolm X Boulevard,
That's
Lenox Avenue as well.
And we start at 10 o'clock because I want to let you know that lawyers believe in being on time.
Okay, so you need to get there.
Get there on time so
Bit
you can
early.
most
So
information you can.
Okay. And I have a phone number. I think this is the phone number for the councilman's office. I see
Yes.
212-678 4505. And it's right near to, I believe, 119th Street on
Yeah.
the downtown side of the street.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
You're right. Between 118 and 119. His
Okay.
picture is in the window.
Okay.
So if you get lost, look for that picture and
Okay.
just come on in the door.
Okay, I love it, and it's quite a family affair. I want to give a shout out to your other children. Please speak their name because they were all a part of this. As you said, the family was impacted, and they
Oh,
had
yeah.
confirmed with you and with Dr. Yusef. So just say their names, please.
Well, Aisha and Sharif.
Okay,
Yeah.
Aisha, part of the team. You know, it takes a village. None of these things are done on the own. And it's a great thing when we can work collectively. I still am
Yeah.
glad from us getting the gate of the exonerated installed and all of the people coming. And we have to keep that kind of movement coming. But it took a village. We work collectively at our internal, agrees to disagree, but nobody took their toys and went home. And that's how we were able to really get this done. So I commend you, Ms. Salaam, for just continuing to do the great work. And some of the people, as you said, Jeffrey Descovich really did his time, paid his time, and was speaking about starting over. That was yesterday. And this coming week on the 13th on Saturday, we have Anthony Rico Esquire, and he is certainly a Harlem icon, you know, great criminal attorney, has helped a lot of people in the community. He's a Harlem man. He's one of ours. And then we have attorney Roger Wareham on the 20th, who will be speaking about your defense. And he is also another Harlem icon who has been through it himself, you know, so he is there to support. And these are people that over the years have continued to do the work. And then I love it, the fact that you have a jailhouse attorney, because we know that a lot of brothers and sisters in prison have really done a lot of work, you know, being in the library, doing the research, helping other fellow inmates, you know, so
that's true.
A lot to deal with. There's a lot going on. You know, we still have a Rikers Island going on, and I, you know, had shared like something where she ended up to be in Rikers, you know, like overnight for something that wasn't even something, but just the trauma of being in there and knowing, like going in there for 24 hours, even though that's not something you did. It might be that you go in and you never come out, or whatever the trauma that you've gone through. This is, you know, something that is going to live with you. So I just think the work that you're doing is very, very critical, is very, very important. And I don't have the full information, but I do know there's a Sister Greer that heads up a program at Columbia University, and you can reach out to us, Harlem Network News. I don't have the details, but it's for people formerly incarcerated. And there is a program at Columbia University where if you are formerly incarcerated, you can actually go to school for free and get your BA. So we're going to try to get that information to you, Ms. Salaam, because that may be something.
Please do.
Helpful. So in closing, Ms. Salaam, are there any final words that you would like to say about justice for the wrongfully incarcerated, or things that you would like folks to know? Thank you.
Well, one of the most important things is to get involved, be a part of the solution. Sitting on the sideline is not the time for that. We've been sitting on the sidelines too long. We have to be an involved community. We got to organize, and we need the community organized, not just 10 people. We need all of us to know this information, all of us to be organized so that we can protect our community.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Ms. Salaam. And once again, I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Network News, and we are your media platform. Please reach out to us. If you have story ideas, please reach out to us with donations. We're getting ready to start our big fundraising campaign. This is how we continue to do the work. And, you know, we're looking for a space, a base where we can actually have a studio. But you can reach out to us at 646-261-5397, Harlem Network News at gmail.com. Also, you can Cash App us, Zelle us. We do have a nonprofit, but this is essential work, is very critical. And we are honored to work with organizations like Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated and the great work they're doing, which even expands. I know Ms. Salaam is probably going to be reaching out on this level, because they also, and I don't know, I know you've done it at least 2 years, taking medicine over to Africa, you know, to help people. I believe it's in Guinea. So this is another part of what Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated does. So thank you so much, Ms. Salaam. And we're definitely going to see you next week. And we hope we'll be able to document some of the sessions and make it available to those who can't actually be there. So, okay. So forward ever, backward never. Today was the last day of the International African Arts Festival out there in the park there. So Colonel, so let's go. Let's keep going. And as Ms. Salaam said, let's keep involved. Let's keep engaged. Keep our ears and eyes to the ground and surround sound so we can really prosper and break the chains. So thank you. Have a great day. Take care.
Take care.